on your Mount Rushmore of like Colorado rappers, or top 3 to 5 all time, and then who's your top 3 to 5 right now?
That's tough. Uh, that's tough. I can't say I've been too tapped in right now, but I've been seeing certain shit. But all time, oh, y'all already know. It's gonna start off with Kofax Cack, man. Like, bro was. I seen his whole like his whole him as a lyricist just bloom, my nigga. Like just from him starting rapping to his growth, and he just he was just a true MC, and he had a love for this shit, and he was dope. You know what I'm saying? He went from not knowing how to do none of this shit to he's the nigga that people asking how do they put out a CD. He had all of these different avenues and resources that he even turned us on to. Like
Mm.
to this day, one of the people who masters my shit is I got that resource from CAC. You know what I'm saying? One of our graphic designers. You know what I'm saying? But so he's definitely because was a pioneer. You know what I'm saying? And when I start dealing with him, it, to see his growth was amazing. And you know what I'm saying? Then I gotta give it to Interstate Ike. It ain't too many people fucking with him. Like, period. Like that nigga's he's dope. I just seen him go from um, getting in the studio and freezing up to not even writing his lyrics and got some of the dopest lyrics and content that we ever heard. You know what I'm saying? And I'll say you got them and you know what I'm saying? Hawkman for sure. Like when it comes to that gangster shit, ain't nobody fucking with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Out here, so just coming up, that shit was gritty. I loved it. Like, you know what I'm saying? One of his main songs, you know what I'm saying? I produced that motherfucker and it was like we was kind of like it was like a Dre and Snoop type of thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With me and him around that time, you know what I mean? And it's just one of the dopest niggas. And I gotta give it up. My fourth is Analyzer Slim. You know what I'm saying? That nigga is like his wordplay is out of this world. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody who I done sat in the car with. You know what I'm saying? And just talking on some regular shit, and we developed this lingo with each other. You know what I'm saying? That he was able to. He was able to put that shit in his lyrics in a way that I knew I understood what he was saying on a lot of that shit, and he was just these people around me, and they inspired me. It ain't because they my homeboys, but when you speak of us being our brotherhood and the unity we had, part of it was because we was fans of each other, and it wasn't because we was friends. You know what I'm saying? So we was really fans of each other's music and shit, and so I gotta start there. You know what I'm saying? Like just coming up, and it's I say my fifth one that I'll put as far as lyricists. You got Bumpy Chill. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but yeah, he's one of the guys back in the day who, like when I was growing up and shit, young teenager and shit, he was on the scene with like Kingdom and G-Sum and all of them. You have Bumpy Chill. And Dez is one of my favorites. Nightcloak's definitely one of my favorites. It's just I can't stop at five, bro.
There's a lot,
I mean, and then Boozilla, you know what I'm saying? He was just I can't even say he was slept on because every time that nigga dropped something, it was just dope. Like he the nigga who really knew how to put a body of work together, and so these people who inspired me and that I'm fans of their music, you know what I'm saying? I actually like listen to their shit and get inspiration, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. So so I say now that nigga Lolo hard, you know what I'm saying? You up on Lolo for sure?
Maybe if I seen him, that name does sound kind of familiar, but
yeah,
I can't think from the top of my head.
His shit hard. And then BC, you up on BC music?
Ah, damn,
Yeah,
sleep.
he dope. He's another one of them people where his growth is just his growth. Like he's a student of the game. You know what I'm saying? So I just seen his growth, and recently we did a project together last year. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
just look up Young Don BC. Merlot. Little Merlot. You
Okay.
up on Merlot?
I've heard of Merlot.
Yeah, you need to tap in with
Yeah.
him. He's more of that younger generation
Yeah,
too.
he's hard. I think I had him in my March Madness bracket.
Yeah, he building in the back. Bro, you know, I always like when he first told me he rap and shit. You know, I can't say I took him serious because you know I'm more of a like shit. You gotta get in the lab and show people something. Like we want to see this shit. We want to hear something. Give us something to hear. But you know he prevailed. Like
he's dope.
He's dope. You know, to me. And then AP has always been dope. Like ain't too many people fucking with him. Like period. Like since he started doing this shit. I remember when he was like just a diamond in the motherfucking rough. Like people wasn't paying attention or listening to him. Like and I got an ear for certain talent and shit. And it's like that nigga. And he stayed consistent. He stayed consistent. You know, this shit hard. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't even gonna lie. I think he's my favorite rapper. Like, not even just Colorado, probably all time. Like,
oh, that's dope. Just
he cold with the lyrics. Shit, people probably see that because I be posting all the time. But
yeah.
But yeah, I fuck with AP too.
Yeah, so I mean, just off the top of my head, man, but there's more. There's definitely more, man. I could go on and on. I don't really like doing top fives and tens and shit. And, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of dope shit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't like to put that in a box.
I know this was probably, I know you probably kind of went into it, and this was probably a question for earlier in the interview. But how did MNLD come together? I know you explained how y'all like met and stuff, but like how did the name come together? Like, cause when I think about how like I came with Malhamina, I was in my room like writing ideas and stuff. Like, so how was that initial process for y'all? Were y'all like just all like recording in the basement, like coming up with, you know, writing down like names and stuff, or how did it come about?
It was crazy because it wasn't really traditional, you know. So let's say like this: we started recording in my basement together, and we fucked with each other, and so this is who I'm rapping with. We really just doing songs together with each other. But we just had a brotherhood, and so I went to jail as a juvenile, and I was staying in touch and shit. And so what happened was I ended up getting my keyboard and my mic and 4-track and shit in there. Just long story short.
In jail?
Yeah. And juvenile hall, I think that should go down in the fucking history books or something. But I don't know. When I think back on it, I'm like, damn, what the fuck? I'm back in 1996, 97? That's a long time ago to like be making them type of moves. But anyway, we was already mob, you know what I'm saying? It was the mob, you know, so we always rep that mob shit, right? Mob niggas, that's what we was. And so like I said, when I was locked up, just between writing the homeboys back and forth and all of that, we decided to be a group, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We all agreed, like, we're gonna be a group and shit. We came up with this name, so Analyzer Slim, he was locked up too. So with us being mob niggas, we already had the MN, you know what I'm saying? The M and the N, but we was playing back and forth, just writing each other back and forth. And you gotta think, our letters wasn't getting to each other often. You know, it's like 4 days to a week before we, you know, but we was just persistent. And we writing each other ideas back and forth. We kept building on the acronyms and shit. And, you know, eventually the LD came, the Living Decent. So, you know, and it just stuck, you know what I'm saying? But we knew we wanted an acronym. So then it was Mob Niggas Living Decent, and then from there, once we all agreed, what happened was, start branding that shit. You know what I'm saying? I was in Lookout Mountain, and there was a little screen printing, shop in there. You know what I'm saying, in the vocational class and shit. So from there, I just started getting ideas and having people draw me shit, and I got these T-shirts made that said "Game Contagious," had Mob Niggas Living Decent. It was a whole little thing.
Yeah.
From there, we started branding that shit. We like young niggas, 96, 97. We got T-shirts. Wasn't many people having that. We branding ourselves, and we sticking together, and we making hella music every day.
Yeah.
So I'm sending shit out back and forth, 4 tracks, and we just building our shit. And then so we decided we're gonna make a tape. You know what I'm saying? So we had this tape called Hell Back in the Game, and I wish I had it to this day.
Yeah.
Somebody got that Hell Back in the Game, holla at us. M&LD us on the tape. You know what I'm saying? So from that day forward, that's just what it was, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you have any like artifacts or like tapes or old merch or anything like that from those days when y'all first started?
I probably got a T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? Probably got a T-shirt. And I ain't really got too much, man. I lost
Y'all
a lot of
pushed
shit.
it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I kept certain shit, and certain shit disappeared. I was in and out of jail, prison and shit. So, I wish I had a lot of that shit.
Right. That's dope. I'm sure some people do. I seen someone post like an old Trav CD when he was Rocky.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah, me and Trav got a song when he was Rocky. We got a few of them. Go back, I remember when he first came in as a rookie. You feel me? He came in gunning like okay, this little lyrical motherfucker, you. We embraced him, you know what I'm saying? He always gave us our props, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you look up and he's Grammy nominated and shit.
Yeah, that's dope.
Oh yeah. I like that you show love to a lot of the people out here too, regardless of where they're from and whatnot. Like,
yeah.
Like and I can tell it's genuine because you smile when you say it too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel that kind of goes back to your point earlier about like, how it may have been more unified, like when we were coming up versus now.
Yeah.
And that's important. Like,
yeah, it is, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta create a certain environment for it to operate a certain way. So, you know what I mean? Just let niggas know. Like Interstate Ike say, love is love. Business is business.
right.
You know what I'm saying? He said it the other way around, but that's just a lingo. It's a lingo. It's language to us. Like, you know what I'm saying? You create your environment. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, you can't manage all of it, but you set the tone. You know what I'm saying? So we all bring certain shit to the table. You know what I'm saying? Within my crew, we all and learning how to deal with each other, and just like how to operate with each other and learning each other. And it just built. You know what I'm saying? It's just solid. It is what it is, even through ups and downs.
So I also want to ask, like, outside of the music, during the 90s, we got the Rockies and the Avalanche. And before 96, there was no, like, professional sport championships yet. Like, Broncos won in the 90s twice. Avs won in the 90s, early 2000s. And then we had, Broncos, Avs, and Nuggets recently win. So, like, and then you had the marijuana boom in, like, 2012. What was, like, Denver like back in like the early 90s, even maybe late 90s compared to now, like as a whole city? Has it gotten a lot bigger, with all the sports success?
Yeah, it's a lot of growth. It's been a lot of growth since back then. But, I feel like Denver was always thriving. The culture was always there. You feel me? If you ask me, it was different though. Now, you know what I mean, as a whole. But we repped them sports like tough, no matter
Yeah.
You know, no matter what was going on, whether they was winning or losing, it was like diehard Bronco fans and shit like that. I can't say the same for the Rockies and Avs, but I think you know, even when the Avs win, it's like we root for
Still
them.
happy,
Yeah, you know, we happy. But them Bronco fans, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They taught me how to be a diehard. You know, it's like, I don't know if I consider myself a diehard, but, you know, whether they win or lose, I'm staying down. I'm loyal to the soil. I'm a loyal to the soil fan.
That's
You know
real.
what I'm saying? So it was like it's different though, you know what I'm saying? Just the scene is different, you know. It's hard to really give you that um that comparison, being that, cuz when you say it, I always think about internet and no internet. And it was like the dynamics was different on how people deal with each other. So it's hard these days because you don't know who is who. You feel me? And a lot of people don't really be around each other. And then I feel like a lot of times that, you know, the internet gives a lot of people a opportunity to present a false version of who they are really. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, growing up
That's
around people and being around my niggas and shit all the time and shit like that.
Like
Yeah, it's like whether you going through some shit or, you know, you can't really see that shit on the internet or what's on a nigga mind or like, you know, that getting confronted and, you know, being honest with your people about certain shit. It's like it was different, you know, the accountability level. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, it's just way different nowadays. So, you know,
That's real.
from my perspective.